reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
Buongiorno, and welcome to the Italian American radio show and podcast. Whether you're sipping an espresso, indulging in a plate of pasta, or just tuning in from your favorite pizzeria, we're here to bring you the flavors, traditions, and stories that make up the heart of the Italian American experience. From the bustling streets of Little Italy to the family kitchens where recipes are passed down through generations, we'll explore it all. So grab a cannoli, settle in, and let's embark on this delightful journey together. In each episode, we'll feature interviews with fascinating guests, share authentic recipes, and dive into the history that shaped the Italian-American community. But most importantly, we want to hear from you. Call in, share your stories, and let's create a community that celebrates the essence of La Dolce Vita. You can also catch our podcast episodes for a taste of Italy wherever you are. So whether you're Nana's favorite or just discovering your roots, get ready for a radio experience that's amore, right here on the Italian American radio show and podcast. Andiamo! Stay tuned for an hour of cultural delights coming your way on the Italian American radio show and podcast.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Italian American radio show and podcast. I hope everything is going well with you. I hope everything is healthy for you and prosperous. Get ready for being prosperous because the new president coming in he's going to make you prosperous. That's a fact. And again, if anybody doesn't believe that, they can call and argue with me about it. I'm open to arguments today, even though I don't want to argue. There's too many nice things happening in my life, except for one or two. But other than that, we have a girl, Tania Wallace. Tania. And she sent me something that she wanted to be friends with me on Facebook. Excuse me. And she said she tried a few times, but she couldn't get through. So I sent something back to her, apologized to her, and I told her I'd like to have her on the show. And so she accepted, and maybe she's even listening. I don't know that she is, but if she is, let me have that number. If she is listening, you can call this number, 702-221-7283. 221-7283, Vegas area code. And I'd love to have you on, Tania, and chit-chat with you and see where you're from. And I'll tell you exactly where I'm from. I'm from Philadelphia, downtown Philadelphia, which is called South Philadelphia, down by the river. A river rat is what I am. But in any event, if you got that number, if you're listening to the show on 1400 AM here in Las Vegas, you can pull it up, KSHP, and or you can just dial the number, 702-221-7283. I'd love to speak to you, honey. Okay, that being said, I'm moving on. Biden endorses vice president, but he didn't say which one. He's confused. No, I don't think he's going for Harris. I think he's going to go for it. Justin's a Democrat. He just blew his cover. He just blew his cover just now with me. I don't care because, two maniacs, it's the old story. Let me give you a story here, son. This is called a short story. There are long stories, but then there are short stories. This is a short story. I would have come home to my house on Bainbridge Street in Philadelphia, and my mother would be there. I would be in trouble for, God knows what reason. I shot a window out, or I was swimming in the river, whatever, I didn't go to school. I played hooky or something, but I got caught in all these things. But what you have to understand is when somebody tells you to fess up, like I did. I told him to fess up a couple of weeks back, but he wouldn't do it. He kept telling me he was he said, really, I'm just a natural, neutral guy, I go with the wind, wherever the wind blows. You've heard that before. I mean, where the wind blows, that's where I'm going with the wind. Oh, that's Justin. And he's a light guy. He's very light. He's not a heavy man. He'd look good in a suit. He probably would really look good in a suit, especially if I dressed him. He'd look like a movie star. But he's not the suit kind of guy, I don't think. But then again, who knows? He's got his LV shirt on, Super Bowl, and but the bottom line is that he's a good producer. He helps me out here. He takes my my madness, I guess I should say, my little bit of madness I throw his way. Not like today I came in and he told me that they were off the air. And I don't know why, but I don't think it was his fault. But he did say we were on podcast, which we have a podcast, so we're on. And he had me call my engineers. So I called two of them just to make sure I could get one of them, but naturally I couldn't. It's Sunday. They're probably in church. They're church-type people. Not like this heathen across from me, I'm kidding. But what I wanted to do today, and, oh, look, Tania Wallace, she sent me a post. It says, hello. How are you doing? Your posts are wonderful and amazing, but we are not friends on Facebook. And I would like to be. I sent a friend request, but it's not going through. Can you send me a friend request so we could be friends, if you don't mind? So I did, and and then my sister-in-law sent me he's not allowed to talk to strangers, is what Darlene said. Now, I don't know if that's Fricky or Darlene, but one or the other, but they're seeing it. And I'm going to say, don't rat me out. Well, Joe Biden drops out, says he won't seek re-election, even though he knows he can win by a landslide. I'm in best interests of my family and party and country and Kamala. Harris. He's got all these names for people. It's kind of like her. To become a nominee. Biden to address nation later this week. Trump says Harris will be easier to beat. And he's probably right. After listening to her madness the last couple of days. And it's really crazy, It's a shame, but well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I wrote an article the other day, and that's I got a couple of people got back to me, and it was an article on Whoopi Goldberg. Has anyone read the article of Whoopi's Goldberg? Can you imagine this dying-looking piece of crap making any kind of a statement about that young kid? This piece of crap, the only reason she's there is because she's got 6 flunkies to sit with. And to sit along with her on her show. And of course, her producer and director. Unbelievable. Anybody that would listen to this Elsa crap deserves it. You deserve to hear crap like this because that's what you are. And the same as her. You're the same as her. I flush you down the toilet. You get what my meaning is, right? And that was her making a statement about Donald Trump's granddaughter. Can you imagine somebody's talking about that cute little kid, talking about her grandfather? What a piece of work. She's a real piece of work. She doesn't look in a mirror too much. I think she has somebody does her hair and and face because she would scare herself to death. In any event, that's, I could tell I really care about that show. But in any event, I had to say that because I didn't appreciate that, trying to insult. They couldn't insult that little girl. She couldn't insult that little girl if she had 13 more people behind her giving her cues. That little girl's way too sharp for her. That little Trump girl. She's jealous that she's a Trump. That's truly what it is. They all are. They're so jealous of the Trumps. But the Trumps didn't get there because they didn't work for it, that's for sure. Nobody handed it to them. Nobody handed it down to them. Nobody hands down that kind of power to people. You got to work and earn it. And that's exactly what Donald did. That's what his father did. That's what his grandfather did. I saw a biography on his grandfather. Whoa, what a guy. Did you ever see that biography of his grandfather? Man, oh man. He would have gave Donald a run for his money. That's how sharp this guy was. How ahead of the game he was on everything. You can look it up on YouTube. And I believe his name was Frederick too. Frederick Trump. Look it up. Not his dad, his grandfather. Came from Sweden, Ireland, not Sweden, Ireland and Scotland. They were from Scotland. They moved to Ireland. They lived there in Ireland for a while, and then they came here, Scotch-Irish. They came here. But this guy let no grass grow under his feet, and that's why he became very, very, very successful, like his son did, which is Trump's dad, and like Donald did. But nobody gave it to him, that's for sure. They worked for it. And people are so jealous of it, and they're so jealous of his power and the way they lived. And Donald is not living any different than his father did and his grandfather did. They loved living nice. And that's the way they lived. You should his house, showed the house that Donald grew up in. It was unbelievable. It was really, really beautiful home. And the grandfather, forget it. This guy, he made all kind of money. And he had hotels. That's what he did, restaurants and hotels. That's how he started out. It was really a good show. It's about an hour and a half. If you get a chance, Justin, put it on, watch it. I suggest that to anybody that's listening to the show. Put it on and watch it. But in any event, I like this. He's not allowed to talk to strangers. That part of my family's so sick. Sick, and funny though, but they're funny. They're like funny sick. Yeah. So the guys went down to the beach, and the ice cream guy, he's been buying ice cream off it for years, down there in Rehoboth, sat down with them on a beach chair and just talked a little bit to Joe and told him, Joe, it's going to be a long summer yet. You could be down here every day getting a nice tan, with ice cream, all kind of different ice creams, enjoying your life. What are you doing? I think it took somebody like that, the ice cream man on the beach, to talk some sense into Joe, Same level. Same level. And here's something. I got another Facebook friend of mine sent me something. Road tripping through Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Taos, and Red River. Angel Fire and Eagle's Nest, yeah. Cimarron. Yeah, it was amazing. Water rafting, shooting, fishing, UTV, excursion, family, good food, great company, and the love of my life. Billy Ward. And his new wife, Jessica. Well, congratulations again, Billy, and congratulations, Jessica. And you two look like you're having a ball, and you look like you're really in love. And that's great, buddy. Really is. And I'm doing a little dancing. Hey, watch your hands there, Bill. Watch your hands. Oh, yeah, there he is again, out there again with his pretty handsy. He's pretty. I'm sure she loves it. Yeah, she's shooting a rifle now. She's shooting the guns off. She looks pretty good. Billy's spotting for her. Yep. But, boy, she got nice long hair. Look how nice long her hair is. Wow. Isn't that nice? Wow. That's a powerful gun she's firing right there. Powerful shotgun. But it's nice, to have somebody in your life like that you can relate to, and they like the things you like, and you like the things they like. It's really a good thing. And my son Kyle and his girlfriend they just got a excuse me, an apartment. And Megan is a real cutie pie. She really is. I think Kyle saw her, and that was the end of him. As soon as he saw her, that was it. It was all over. But in any event, I don't blame him. She's a beautiful little girl. And they just moved in together. They've been going out for a long time, but now they got a nice apartment. I'm not going to say where or put it up on the internet because I don't want any of Kyle's jealous girlfriends coming up and bothering him. And I don't want any of Megan's old boyfriends coming up and bothering him. I'm kidding. But I did tell them this morning because I called. They just moved in yesterday. And I asked them how they did. And see, how kids never listen to you. Like they just know everything, They just know everything. And then they don't. So I told them yesterday, I said, do you need help moving? No. It's not that much, Dad. Okay, I believe you. I mentioned when I spoke to him yesterday, I said, why don't you have Gage, which is his nephew. Have little Gage help you. It's not that he's that little. He's almost as big as me. He's 13. And built really good. He's built better than his producer over here, Justin. I'm kidding. But he's built like Justin, actually. Nice built. And I told Kyle, I said, Kyle, why don't you get him? He can do all the running for you. Moving's a pain in the neck. Kyle never moved in his life, so he doesn't know. But in any event, I called him this morning. I wanted to see how he made out. And I told them to just do so much and then finish today. I said, and then you just can go out, have pizza and a couple of beers or wine, glass of wine, whatever, and enjoy it, and then go home. So he said that is what they did. They went out last night to a pizza place I won't not mention, but and they enjoyed it. And then they went home and had a good night. They took a shower and had a good night's sleep. And this morning they got to go and finish up some stuff from the old house where he was living. Have to pick up a few more pieces. And then they were going to her mother's to get food. So her mom and dad were going to feed them, Yes. Well, they can get used to that because that's going to happen for a long time. But in any event, he started to tell me about carrying the stuff upstairs. I said, well, you had you told me you had an elevator. I said, that's what it was. I asked, how far is the car from the elevator? And that's when he got into, well, it's the elevator is kind of like down at the end of the hall, way down. So you would have to carry everything down there, get on the elevator, bring it up, and then walk it back up to our apartment. But if you go up the steps, it's right there. Our apartment's right there. I said, see, that's what I was telling you about yesterday. If you would have got, he said, oh, Dad, it was terrible. Sweating. Both of us, we were sweating so much because I said, well, it's a lot of trips you got to make. You got clothes. There are own hangers and boxes. You got to carry all that stuff. I said, but see if you'd got Gage. Gage would run up them steps 20 times. Wouldn't bother him at all. He's 13. But you didn't want to listen to me. He said, yeah, I know. He said, but, I said, yeah, I know. You probably have to give him a $20 bill. You don't want to go for the cash. I would have given it to him. But in any event, they're moved in. They're very happy. And I spoke to Megan a little bit. She's very excited. And I'm going to ask Justin something. Are we on? We're on everything now? Yeah? Okay. In any event, I'm very happy for those two kids. And I'm happy for them because I know that they're really in love and they do everything together. And that's the way it should be. And I have another son and I guess future daughter-in-law, Franny and Daisy, same way. I mean, they're like inseparable. And it's great. I mean, it really, truly is. I'm proud of myself. No, I'm kidding. I'm proud of them. In any event, I'm going to put my glasses on for 1 minute. I left my other ones at the house along with my wallet. Sorry about that. And Barb Majinski. Barb. Let's see what Barb has to say. How am I doing? She is. How are you doing, Francis? Well, I'm going to answer her. Barbara, I'm doing okay. So nice to hear from you. And we should talk more. I want to give you my number. Well, my number's on. I'll just give you the number. It's 702-265-4419. You can call me anytime you like, Barb. We never really get a chance to talk. After all these years, we should. But it's funny. I was thinking of you and Butchie just the other day. I was looking at some pictures. I got to pull all them pictures out. I have so many pictures of the family. In any event, I'm glad you touched base with me. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you and speaking with you, truly. Okay, Barb? Miss you, cutie pie. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's part of the old family there. Justin, you paying attention to me? He's not paying attention. He's always shaking his head, but he's not. Let's see, what's this? Invite to Messenger. Barb Majinski. We'll get a link to install the app. Okay. Okay. And look at all these people want to invite people. Invite them all. In any event, we're going to do, what time is it? 12:30. Last week we had a very, very nice woman from up in Massachusetts. She went over to the Republican presidential affair, and she is one of the Italian-American sponsors, and that's how I met her. I sent her something, and she got right back to me, Jeannie, and she's such a nice person. And I enjoy speaking with her. She's always so, she's always got something to say, something nice to say, and something to talk about, which is always nice, and I spoke to her last week. She called, and we couldn't put together. She had called me previous. She wanted to do a whole show from the presidential affair there. But because of the assassination attempt, that ridiculous, don't ever do that again. I'll have to kill you, okay? You didn't hear that? You did it on spite, didn't you? He's such a shit, you know? No, I didn't say shit, did I? I did, didn't I? I said it twice. Yeah, you bet. He's so nuts. Well, somebody's doing it. I don't know who's doing it. Sounds like a little music. I think that's it. I don't have any here. Well, you didn't give me any. What kind of producer are you?
You don't need them.
Well, that's why I didn't ask, because I don't need them. We're talking about the earphones. He said I don't need them. Well, I don't need them because I don't have anybody to speak to. Normally, you have people that call you, and you have to have the earphones on, because this radio station is 5,000 years behind times. Any other station would have gigantic screens and big speakers, and it would just be a wonderful place, to work out of. Instead, I got to work like this. I got to crank. This. Do you know that the old days you used to have to crank the station up? They have a crank, like the old cars, the old Model T Fords. That's what this place has. It has a crank. You crank in the morning about 7 o'clock. Boom, and everything goes on. All the lights go on, and you're ready to rock and roll on KSHP, 1400 AM. And then he can go back to sleep. He does it. He does it for the morning show. And but in any event, he's over here cranking away. But in any event, Jeannie Darling, she called us last week and let us know what was going on out there, and she said it was very sad. Even though it was very nice, it was very sad what happened there on Saturday, and they had so much security. She said, it was hard to. She couldn't really talk the way she wanted to because they didn't want people on the phones too much. So she spent probably half an hour, 20 minutes with us, her and her friend, and it was nice to speak to them. I enjoyed it, and then while she was there, she fell off a chair. She was standing on one of those folding chairs, and she fell off and smashed her knee, and they had to take her. She got up, and her knee was all swollen. In the morning, it wasn't then, it was the next day, which was yesterday. And they had to take her to the hospital and check her for blood clots. They wanted to make sure she didn't have blood clots in her legs, but she said it really swelled up pretty bad. But they gave her some medications and told her just go home, and if you can walk on it, walk on it. And but they said what really made it blow up was, see, they were in Wisconsin, Michigan, and they live in Massachusetts, so they had to take a plane. So when you fly in a plane, you have to be careful with if you have blood pressure or stuff like that, or if you have any kind of water in your ankles or legs, because it'll blow up, and that's what happened to her. So that's what the doctors told her. It was more of the plane ride than anything else, But it'll go down in about 3 days. Now, whether or not it did, I don't know. But it was only really 1 day today. But hopefully it did. And I want to say something else too while we're talking about the show that I'm doing, this Italian American radio show. This show started with me, and I just looked this up the other day. October 29, 2021. That's when I started this show. Believe it or not, that long ago. That's 3 years ago. Now, which I'm going to get to that, not this week. I'm going to get to that next week because I have a lot of news going to happen next week. But in any event, I had a friend call me today I hadn't spoke to in a week. Matter of fact, last time I spoke to her, she was in a hospital. And, excuse me, she had fallen and fractured her arm. And this is like the third time she's fallen. She fell off her stairs at her home twice. She's very frail. She's very thin, and from being sick, because she got sick. I won't get into that, but she got sick, and it's not a good sickness. It's a bad sickness, but she's okay. She's fighting it off, and but we talked, and I told her. I said, Catherine, you need to get out of there. She bought this brand new home. It was fairly brand new, 2-3 years old, maybe. Excuse me. And she moved in it. It's a basement home, living room, sunken living room. Then it goes down to the basement, then second floor. So it's a three floor property, and she sunk a lot of money in it. She remodeled the bathrooms, redid the kitchen, the carpeting. She redid the carpet and the wooden floors, vinyl plank floors. The carpet I got her was funny. She called and told me she wanted to do that, and she wanted to get carpet for the room. So I said, well, you know what? Let me make a call down south for you, see what I can get. So I ended up being able to get, through a friend of mine, a wool plush carpet, velvet wool. And she needed 110 yards or something, because it was 2 flights of stairs and bedrooms and 3 bedrooms. And it was about 100 yards on it, whatever. But the carpet is $100 a yard just to buy it. If you wanted to buy it, Justin, $100 a yard. That's not me trying to get you a discount. That's just me having to pay $100 a yard to sell it to you for $130 a yard. But in any event, I called a friend of mine up, and they had 3 pieces of wool, and they sent me pictures. And I knew what they were when I saw them. I said, what can you give me this for? This is for a very dear friend of mine. Now it's $10 a yard, Fran. I said, what? $10 a yard. So I sent Catherine the pictures, and she picks this one out. She said, oh, I love it. I said, okay, you got it. So it was, what did it come? It came to $1,000. It was $10,000 worth of carpet. So I called the guy in Philadelphia, because she lives in Jersey. I called the guy in Philly that installs carpet, and I had Dino go over there and install the carpet and the steps, and did a beautiful job for her, and laid the flooring too, the vinyl plank floor. Well, in any event, she got sick again right after that. And she called me up. As a matter of fact, she didn't call me. Her sister called me and said, would I call her, now, because she's really not feeling well. So I said, sure. So I called her up. Catherine, how you doing? And she was feeling pretty blah. So she said, God, I wish you were here. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. How about if I fly up for a week? I'll spend a week with you up there, okay? She said, oh, are you kidding? I said, no, I'll do it. Now, this was 21, Justin. This was in October, November, maybe. And no, it was before that. It was because this is where I got the idea from Catherine. Well, she didn't give me the idea, but if I hadn't went there, I wouldn't have got the idea. So I go, and what happened was she was very, very sick. So instead of me spending a week, I spent 5 weeks. And I had to come back because of the carpet business. I couldn't stay any longer. Excuse me. In any event, what happened was I was going to a nursery for her. She wanted a couple plants, little tree shrubs to put outside the house. So I drove, and there was something on the radio that I heard. And when I heard it, I thought about it, and I said, boy, this could make a good show. It didn't have anything to do with the show that per se that I was thinking about. It was just an idea. It gave me an idea for a show, what was said. And it wasn't said about anything Italian either. That was everything that came out was through me, but my imagination. But I got her plants. I came back. I spoke to her, and I told her what I was thinking. She started laughing. She said, "You're something. You just get an idea, and it always makes sense." I said, "Well, I think this will make sense." And I started to research it. And the more I researched the Italian culture, the more I wanted to research it because it was so dynamic. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I started to put everything together. Like I have so many things that Justin has no idea about that I have written for us to do on this show. I never got an opportunity to do it. And I had said to a few people, if I could get this on the show going properly, it'd probably be one of the hottest shows in the country. But, that being said and getting it done are two different things. The idea is still there. The idea is fabulous. But what I had to do is I had to get people to help me. So I ended up hiring, without going into too much, I had 5 or 6 people that I had to hire in different ways, each person doing something different and helping me with it. Because it's a new show, and there's a lot to putting a show together. It's not, you just come out of your bedroom and, well, you can, I guess, a lot of people say, just do a podcast. Well, you can if that's where you're at, That's not where I was at, and that's not what I did. I wanted to do the podcast, and we have, but you need the radio station. You need the radio. Very important. I won't get into that right now. Maybe at a later date, I'll tell you why you need a radio. But so what I did was I put a lot of time in. I mean, a lot of time, a lot of reading, a lot of filming, a lot of writing, letting people know about their heritage, and getting in touch with a lot of people, a lot of different people, which I'll get into next week. I'm not going to get into it this week, but they're very, very influential people that helped me out with ideas. They didn't really give me any. Well, 1 or 2 did, but it wasn't an idea that I didn't already have, to be honest. And I'm not saying this for any reason than it's true. I was in the advertising business for a long time. I was in television for quite a long time, and I was in radio for a long time. And I, to be honest, the only thing I didn't own was the Yellow Page business. That when I started selling advertising, it was with Yellow Pages, and I didn't own that. I should have, but I didn't, because it was very ownable. I could have owned it, but in any event, I didn't. And but I learned there, and I was very good at it. By the way, I was good at it because I'm a good salesman. I try to give people what they want, and I try to save them as much money as I can. And I always had a philosophy: I wasn't going to eat anything special just because I'm selling you something. It's not going to make me eat a steak just because I sell you something. So why do I have to overcharge you? It's ridiculous. Just charging what you should be charged, and realistic numbers, and and you make people happy, and people come back to you when you do that, you know. And most of my business is repeat business from people calling me back, and that's the truth. But in any event, I was really stuck on this show, the Italian American Radio Show and Podcast. And the more time I had to think about this show, the more I added to it in my mind and on paper. And that's why, like, Justin looks at me every now and then, and I mean it when I tell him I have so much in paper that you just wouldn't believe that we need to do and that we can do. Once we start doing it, these phones you'll need 15 more lines. I'm not kidding. But in any event, the deal was, when I looked on my computer yesterday at something, and all the people that had emailed me, that were a part of the show, that were working for me. The only one that wasn't working for me was Catherine, but she had sent me 10 different emails, and most of it was about Italy, and very, very interesting things. So she was doing that for me. I had people that spoke Italian, fluent Italian, doing the opening of the shows for me, which we never used, by the way, because a friend of mine told me nobody speaks Italian anymore. That was Angelo Cassara Plumbing and Heating. Good man. And Angelo said, "No, Fran, you can't use that." I said, "Now you tell me it's 6 minutes long. I got to get the video guy to redo everything. I have to bring her back into the studio and have her redo it in English." So it was, well, what can I tell you? It was time, because a lot of these people, they just can't stop doing what they're doing. They're busy doing other things, and so you have to correspond everybody's time with everybody, and then of course there's a cost to it. In any event, we got it put together, and but other things start happening, and I'll get into that next week. I'm not going to get into that today either, but I just wanted to refresh Justin, because I know he was wondering what happened, why the show didn't go as it should or as it could. The show is going to be very, very strong once I can put it together the way I want it. It'll be what I know it's going to be. It'll be a number one show, and a lot of people will want to be on it. That's for sure. In any event, that's all I'm going to talk about now. And next week I'll be speaking more about it, and a few other things I'll be speaking about. And now I'm going to get back to the Italian American Radio Show and Podcast here in town. We went from New Jersey to Vegas, and what I have to say is it's been a long ride. I didn't realize till I went on that computer yesterday. I thought it was 2 years, but it was 3 years. I have a contract with this radio station, so people understand, which I'm going to show that next week. I have a contract that I started in 2022. And it was for 5 days, Monday through Friday, 2-hour show every day from 7 to 9 at night. And that's exactly what the contract says, which I'm going to show people. And there's a reason why I'm going to show it. But in any event, everything that I did it with all my heart. I really wanted everything to work the way I wanted it to work. Unfortunately, it didn't. But that's business. You can't always get it the way you want it. But we're going to try again. We're going to give it another shot, big time. We're going to go for it again. And we'll see what happens then. And I got a good feeling about it. I think it's going to be a winner. And what do we got? 8 minutes left here. And if anybody wants to call in and talk about anything, feel free to call us 221-7283. That's a 702 area code, 221-7283. And I spoke to our blonde bombshell before she left. I told her, I was kidding with her. I was kidding last week. I gave her a kiss on the cheek, Justin. I think she liked it. Justin, I think she liked it. I'm going to get in trouble again, aren't I? I'll be in trouble again with her. Is she a married woman? No? Okay. Well, in that case, you don't know. Oh, okay. Well, I'll deny it. I can deny anything. You know what I mean? I'll just deny it to her husband. That's all. We ought to go have lunch there, shouldn't we? Or dinner. What's better, lunch or dinner? You don't know? Boy, you're not talkative today, are you? You're not very talkative. You got a sore throat, don't you? Oh, tired, sleepy. He's sleepy, the poor kid. Well, that happens too. You work all week, work longer than you mean to, and for some reason, or somebody makes you work longer, and you end up passing out over the weekend. What I need to do today is maybe clean my car. How's that sound? Clean my car up and get that done for tomorrow. And it's so hot out. This weather is sick. Don't you think? You don't care, do you? Yeah, he said, I'm in here. I don't care. The air works. It's the kind of guy he is. He doesn't care about them old people walking down the streets. Yeah. Well, every summer it's the same thing in Vegas. It's as if people don't understand, and they lived here forever, that it gets hot in Vegas in the summertime. It just gets hot. That's all there is to it. But, they're lucky that there's no humidity. In Texas, you get a 100-degree day, which you can easily, but it's your humidity is 50, 60, 70%. And you're sweating. I mean, you're just drenched. Your clothes are drenched from it. And that's in Houston, back in good old Houston. But everything's changed. We all get older and everybody goes their own way. And it's a shame we don't, as my mother said, you're not born old and you grow young. That would be a trip, huh? And Biden endorses the vice president. Yep. President Biden looks on. Yeah, he dropped out Sunday, ending his bid for re-election following a disastrous debate. Raised doubts about his fitness for office. Well, you know what? How much worse could she be? Seriously. She may be a godsend. Who knows? I doubt it, but you never know. You never know. It's the truth. Biden plans to serve out the remainder of his term in office, which ends noon Eastern Time on January 20, 2025. Oh, okay. So he's going to just stay in and carry on his madness for another 4 or 5 months. Oh, my God. Yeah, he's going to carry on. Carry on, young man. Carry on. And, well, I know I'm looking at Justin. Justin's like, he's getting mad because I'm talking about his president. Yeah, he is. Like, he's pretending like he's not a demi. But everybody knows he's a demi. Everybody in here knows he's a demi. Him and the other guy that's on the that he works with. Both of them. 2 Democrats. They sit in here and they torture people. That's what they do. They torture them. No, I'm only kidding. I'm joking around. He doesn't torture. That's not him. That's not his way. But is that the right time or is that fast? Well, then I have to fix my watch. Or let me look at my phone. That's right. That's right. So we're going to wrap it up soon here, huh? That's what you want to hear, don't you? Because you had a long day today. You had a long day yesterday and the day before that. And, I know what you mean. I've had them too. I've had those days. Here, I'll give you this back also. And next Sunday will be a little more exciting. I'm going to send some emails out to people to let them know what the show is going to be about. I'm going to send out about 1,000 of them. And then we're going to take it from there. So let's see, it's 12:59. So I'm going to sign off here and wish everybody a great week, a happy week, a healthy week, and a prosperous week. I hope all those things come true for you. I truly do. And I'll be speaking to you next Sunday, God willing, and the Blessed Mother. They're my 2 favorites. And, of course, my mother, you know. But in any event, it's been a pleasure speaking to you today, and I'll be back with you next Sunday.
Rebel Nation, get ready. The 2024-25 UNLV